You're listening to The Drive Home on 710 KURV, Davis Rankin and Roxanne Garcia, and we welcome Dr. Ray Gonzalez. He is a delegate to the National Republican Convention, and my guess is this is his first time at the rodeo. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be on.
Oh, man. Hey, Roxanne.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio.
He's both a physician and a lawyer. So he's
oh my word! How do you do that, doctor?
And he wants to be in Congress. He's a Republican nominee for Congressional District Number 34, the one occupied now by
a man who wears many hats.
Yeah. So
yes, and this week, I'm wearing another one. I'm a delegate to the National Convention, and it has been exciting. Just tremendous time out here in Cleveland.
Well, the Rorschach test question is, what comes to mind when your wife says, "How was the convention, dear?" and you say, or how do you say?
I would say, I don't have a wife, so who are you?
Well,
but if I had a wife, I'd say, well, it was wonderful, dear, because it really was a showcase of the conservative ideas from across the country. And you really understand how a house divided cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
And because we understand that even different factions within the Republican Party know that we have to come together against Hillary. That's a beautiful sight. Something that probably doesn't come across from cable television. But for those of us sitting on the floor, we get to see that there are issues even among us, but we're coming together. We really are uniting, despite little issues such as the interruption last night.
What little issue could you be referring to? What was your?
That's one of them.
What was your view, your response to? And I don't know if you went as a Trump delegate or a Cruz delegate or nobody's delegate, but when Cruz, he's making what I thought was a pretty good speech, and he gets to the clincher, and everybody was expecting him to embrace Trump. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump in some fashion, and he didn't. What do you think?
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. So I was not surprised that he didn't endorse him. I was expecting him to do exactly what he did. I thought it was an excellent speech. And what I expected him to do, and what he did at least try to do, was to unite the party. That, I think, no one can disagree on. We absolutely have to avoid a second Clinton presidency. And so I expect him to do that. I was listening attentively to see whether he was going to endorse. He didn't, but that didn't surprise me too much. His justification for not endorsing him this morning, I thought came across It came across well because he explained to us that he's not just a senator; he's also a man. He's also a Texan. He's also a person, an individual person. And so when he's making decisions as a senator, he's thinking of the country. But doggone it, if he can't separate himself from being a man, and I don't blame him. He said this morning, "I'm not going to endorse someone who insults my father. I'm not going to endorse someone, support someone who insults my wife." And so last night, what we saw on the stage was a man who was walking a fine line, understanding that a Hillary presidency would be disastrous, but understanding that he's got some duties to his own family. And I think he did it well. The disruption that Trump caused when he walked in was it really left an ugly taste in all of our mouths. At first, I actually thought it was a protester. Last night, Oscar Adame, who was in the room, interviewed
Channel
me.
5, yeah.
And Channel 5. And so I was surprised. I had a big smile on my face because it was so shocking to me. You know, I really thought it was a protester that had infiltrated. And turns out we just saw Trump's hair coming down the stairs. Like, oh, wow. It's not a protester. Well, it's Trump himself.
Nobody can rip off that haircut. I find it a little
odd, though. Why would Trump come in the middle of Ted Cruz's speech? Is it just to rile the people up, to steal his thunder? I mean, that's not. I don't think that's the right.
It wasn't.
We all have our opinions,
right,
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't classy. I don't think it was right. As I told Oscar, and he didn't put it on the air, but I told Oscar that one reason may have been that immediately after Ted Cruz was going to speak, his son was going to speak, and likely he wanted to be in place for his son, and that he was going to cause a disruption anyway, and so he just kind of wanted to be in place. Of course, that's speculation on my part. He may have indeed known that. Well, we actually know that Trump already knew what Cruz was going to say. He had about a 2-hour heads up. Mm-hmm. So he knew he wasn't going to get endorsed. So he may have planned it. He may have just wanted to steal his thunder. And another thing that listeners may not know was that yesterday when Cruz was speaking at rally, call it dumb coincidence, but right when he was getting again to the best part of his speech, Trump's plane flies right overhead. Disrupts another disruption. What a coincidence. Huh?
Luck is a good thing. We're talking with the Republican nominee, the Republican candidate for the Congressional District 34. That's the one now occupied by Democrat Filemon Vela. Dr. Ray Gonzalez is both a lawyer and a physician, and he is a first-time delegate to the Republican National Convention in Cleveland. When Mr. Cruz spoke to the Texas delegation Wednesday morning, do you think he satisfied those of you who were unsatisfied from the night before, who were mad at him?
I got to tell you, I didn't make it to that breakfast meeting. I didn't know he was speaking. I had been to every breakfast. They shouldn't even call it breakfast. They don't serve us any breakfast. But it's really an opportunity for speakers to come out. And I spoke on Tuesday. So I didn't make it this morning. And when I showed up, finally, he had already spoken. And someone told me that it was a rousing speech and that it was profound. And really that the one thing that person remembers hearing was was Cruz's question. Does it make sense that a statement of let us vote our conscience, which is what he said last night, does it make sense for that to get booed? And if it, what does that say about our party if that initiates a boo? So it's just. So I don't know. There are still some issues. There are still some feelings, and the question is: should we fear Hillary more than fear God? Because it seems like we're being pushed. We're being pushed to a point where we feel that we have to do absolutely everything to avoid
a Clinton presidency.
Presidency. But does that include going to the point of just treating our values and treating each other as though we're
you're talking about
the enemy ourselves?
About Cruz and Trump.
Yeah.
What was most of
we have to realize that even if Clinton is elected, we're going to be fine. We are going to do. We're going to, 4 years from then, we'll have another very lively discussion, and the world will be a much different place. But even so, we have to rely that God's grace is still with us. I mean, He's still on the throne, and so I think that's the point that we were making about him having to unite the party on one hand, and just be a man, just be a human, be a father and a son and a husband on the other hand.
Well, last question, very quickly. Would you do it again? Or is one of these things enough? And that I would think
be a delegate. I would absolutely be a delegate again. Oh. Here's the issue. I would encourage folks that are choosing delegates to make sure that you're choosing folks that don't want to come out here to party. There are some folks that are come to these conventions, I think, with the idea of a mini vacation. We're here to work. Mm-hmm. We're here to choose the next president. That is our candidate, to engage in lively debates. But a lot of folks are just,
it's a good thing you're teetotal then, Dr. Gonzalez. We have to go. Dr. Gonzalez is the Republican nominee for Congressional District number 34.
Yeah, we'll have you on again to talk more about this position as to why you want to take Filemon Vela's seat.
And then we can argue with you. All right. Thank you very much.
Goodness, we can talk.
Thank you, Doctor.
Right. You're listening to 710 KURV.